joined this time by Regina Kane of the Caring Center here in Verona. The Caring Center has been a business in Verona for quite some time. How long exactly, Regina?
We celebrated our 40th anniversary recently.
Wow. So tell me a little about your business and its history in Verona to get us started.
We've been here, as I said, about 40 years now. We began as a very small program. Initially, what Verona was looking for was more of a partake preschool, and our business has grown over the years to include quite a few other options for parents. But our start was way back in 1972.
Wow. And what prompted you personally to get into this line of work?
I came because I was a first and second grade teacher, and my family had moved to the area. I had a daughter who was 3 and didn't know anyone in the area. I was looking for a place for her to come, and my standards were kind of high as a teacher. I was pretty disappointed in what I was finding. I came to the Caring Center, thought it was a great program, enrolled my daughter, and then I was asked to teach here as well.
Okay. And kind of backing up a little bit more on the history, I know in the time I've been following the Caring Center, which has been more than 20 years, you kind of added a little campus here. Can you tell us a little bit about how small it was when you started and how you've expanded to other buildings?
We do call it our campus. We have 3 buildings that are here. We started out with just the main building and then added the upstairs to that building. We added the round building probably about 10 years after that, and the SPAC building was right around that same time. We did not intend ever to be as big as we are, but Verona really had a lot of changing needs, and we had initially started as a rented classroom at St. Andrews, moved on to having our own buildings.
And for those who aren't familiar with the name, it's the daycare operation right underneath the first water tower in Verona, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. But could you just give us a little rundown of how the different buildings are used? Are they to house different grade levels?
We have several programs here. We have traditional preschool programs for children beginning at age 2. Our main building houses that program for our 2-year-olds. Our round building houses our traditional program for 3-year-olds in preschool. And then we have 4-year-old programming here in a traditional setting, and we are a site for the Verona School District Pre-K program in our 4-year-old programs here. We also have a Montessori program that's situated in the upstairs of our main building. That's a mixed-age preschool program for children from ages 3 to 5. And the building that we're in right now is our school-age program that we call CC's Clubhouse. That's intended for children from kindergarten on up. And that's a program that runs after school as well as late start Mondays on summer programming.
And in your opinion, Regina, what has been the key to your continued growth and longevity in Verona?
I think it really has been our ethical business foundation. I would say that we've been owned by the same family our entire history. I've been here 25 years, which isn't always typical in this field either, but I was so drawn to the programs because I felt there was such a strong foundation of doing things because it was right for children.
Okay. Now, in terms of being a business in Verona, what are the biggest challenges for your business doing business in a town like Verona?
The biggest challenge for us has probably been that Verona is changing so much, and we've had to really be open to how do we need to adapt to those changes. When we started, we had a lot of families that were looking for just a morning preschool program. We found that through the years there were more working parents out there that needed a full-day program, so we expanded to meet that. We found that the kindergarten program was going from a half-day to a full-day program. We had to adapt to that program to serve those families. When Verona decided to do late start Mondays, that opened up another area that parents were struggling with. And then we, just probably about 5 or 6 years ago, we found that Montessori was kind of something that people were looking for, and we've been researching that for a period of time and decided to open a Montessori program as well.
And I imagine, especially I know just tens of parents who brought their kids here, but I imagine at certain periods of time, Verona grew so fast, the demand must have put a challenge on you guys.
At times it did. We've been able to keep up pretty well because we're pretty creative about using our space. Our buildings have always been licensed to accommodate more children than we house in them, but we've wanted to be cautious that we're not growing so quickly that we can't do a good job. We've been asked a number of times about opening other locations. We've considered it, but we've always returned to the fact that we want to do well, whatever we're doing, and we don't want to stretch ourselves to a point that would damage the programs that we are doing.
If there was one thing that you could tell the viewers in Verona about the Caring Center that maybe they don't know, or that just kind of is a commonly asked question, what would that be?
I think people ask what makes us probably a little bit unique. I would say it is that long-term tie into our community and the fact that we are a family-owned business. It's not typical to see the same ownership, the same leadership in a child care setting or a preschool setting like ours. And I think because we've had that long-term commitment, we really have that buy-in to the Verona community that we really value our time here, and we want parents to really feel comfortable that this is a good place where the children will be nurtured.
And how do parents contact you and find you? I know you're right across the street from one of the elementary schools, which has got to be a big plus.
We are, and we do often find that when parents are registering for school, they typically will see what's nearby and they find us for that reason. But we do serve a number of the elementary schools in the area. The best way to get information about us is to look at our website. We have a lot of information on there. It's easy to contact us via our website, or parents can just give us a call. Always happy to give them a tour through the facilities.
And what is your website address?
We're at www.caringcenter.com.
Okay. And if someone wanted to register their child for to come to the Caring Center, is there a certain time they should do it, or is there a certain way they should go about it?
We have registration periods a few times during the year. Our key time is generally in January. We've tried to coincide with the pre-K registration in Verona to make that a little simpler for families who need some wraparound programming with that program. We also do a registration prior to the summer and the fall. But really our key time that parents often register is in January for both the upcoming summer and the following fall.
Now, is there an application that you get? So what's the process for registering?
To apply, everything is online now, so it's pretty simple to go online and print out forms. Otherwise, when families tour, we're happy to give them hard copies of everything too.
Okay. And you mentioned your websites. What's the actual address of the building here?
We're at 402 West Verona Avenue.
As I mentioned, it's right below the first water tower and across the street from Sugar Creek Elementary School. If someone wanted to get in contact with you, what is the best way to do it? Is it the phone?
Probably the phone, or again our website. There is a link that will bring you right into emailing us so that we can set up a visit.
Okay, and what is the phone number here?
We're at 845-8620.
620, okay. And do you encourage people to drop in and check you out? And
we do ask that parents come in and visit. This is such an important decision for them to make that we feel that it's something they want to actually come and visit the facility. As far as a drop-in, we do ask for families to make an appointment so we know we have someone that can give them some time to answer questions, and also just for the security that we need to know who's in our buildings.
do you do any kind of open house or similar events during the year?
We generally do an open house prior to the fall sessions, and that information is always on our website as well if there's an open house coming up.
And just in case someone missed it earlier on in the broadcast, you want to give that website once more?
Our website is caringcenter.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Regina, for being on our program today. And that concludes this episode of Chatting with the Chamber. We'll be back with you next month with 3 new businesses. We'll see you then.